Alright, today for reading, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to eventually get into our world literature book, but first I'd like to introduce you to a strategy. Alright, this is a KWL chart. Can anybody tell me what a KWL chart is or what it might do?
Does it have something to do with reading?
Yes, that's good. It's reading class. So we're on the right point. Well, it's a strategy for reading, that is. And it helps you organize your thoughts as you read. And as before you read, while you read, or during your reading, and after your reading. Think of the chart as three different sections. This is the K, the W, and the L.
What's the K?
Alright, so divide those up. You can put it in blue marker so you can see back there. It might be a little bit fuzzy for you. Alright, so for the K, that is the first aspect. The K aspect of the chart is known as what I know. Okay, this is your prior knowledge of the subject. What you know about this subject. So as you're going to find out the topic of the story, which we'll address that in a little bit, we want to look at prior knowledge and say, okay, well, this is what I know about this. And list as many things as you can help yourself on your prior knowledge. Alright, does anybody have any questions about the K aspect? Prior knowledge of what you know about the subject. Alright, no questions? I'll go ahead and continue. Now let's look at the W part of the chart. This is what I want to know. This often occurs during reading, but there may be times you have some want to know before reading. Anything that you think of before or during reading may go into this box. Just write down your thoughts, any questions about the W aspect of the KWL. You know, when we take notes in here all the time, so this is another aspect that you can take notes, but they're organized notes for yourself. Alright? So, the W aspect is what I want to know. So this is, in other words, questions that you have during your reading or before you're reading about the topic. And maybe there's something that you always wanted to know about Africa. So you could write that down on there, and maybe, hopefully, the story will tell us about that. Any questions about the W aspect? All right. Now let's move on to the L aspect of this chart. This is what I learned aspect. Okay, so the L, what I learned. All right, this is just like note-taking now. This is the ultimate, the same thing as note-taking, basically. This is the ultimate goal for note-taking. That is the same thing. So it's what I learned. So as we read the story, we put down things in our notes, or what I learned column, that tells us what we learned about the subject. This is after the reading, or you can even do it during the reading as you go so you don't forget an important aspect. Alright, real quick review of the KWL chart. What does the K mean?
What I know.
Okay, what I know. That's correct. Okay, so the K is what I know. What does the W mean? Let's go somebody over here. Alright, back there.
What I want to know.
Alright, that's correct. What I want to know. Alright, so the W, what I want to know. And the L is what I learned. Okay, that's the notes. That's the ultimate goal of our notes, is to have the L. Now that we understand the aspects of the strategy, let's begin to practice each aspect. So helps with our English chart. I have posted a KWL chart and the meaning on the back wall. Anytime you're reading a story, you can use the concept to help you better understand the story. I will also put some underneath the blank paper thing that you can use these charts anytime you'd like. Alright, so KWL chart. I'm going to pass one out to everybody so you can follow along as I model an example story for you. Okay, you're not going to do anything here. I'm going to demonstrate on the board, and I want you to pay attention to me as I do this and follow along on the chart. Okay, I'm also passing out a story that is called Jimmy's football career. Okay, it's more like a passage. It's not very long. Okay, so we can skim it, read it quickly, and then we'll be able to do the example for us. All right, so modeling. Everyone should have the story in front of them now, okay? And then the KW chart off the side. We don't need our books or anything like that. All right. Okay, so when I begin my thought process about the story of Jimmy's football career, I need to think, what do I know about football? What do I know about Jimmy? What do I know about his career? Well, I don't know Jimmy, so I don't know his career, so I can't really think anything. I do know things about football, though. Well, there's an offense, defense, quarterback. I heard quarterback before. Coach. There's coaches. Plays. You know, that's a good amount. I know a couple other things. I think I'm going to keep stick with that. So I know that there is 5 things I have for what I know. What Jimmy's football career? What do I want to know about Jimmy's football career? But I want to know, where did he play? What else do I want to know before I start reading this passage? Who is Jimmy? Anybody know who Jimmy is? I don't know who Jimmy is. I'm going to put that. Who is Jimmy? What position did Jimmy play? Okay, well, that's 3 general questions. So I'm going to leave it to that for now. Then I'm going to pass out some. Okay, so now let's go ahead and read the passage. And, okay, yeah, we'll read it aloud. All right, go ahead and start. Go ahead and turn the film off for me, please. All right, so we read the story aloud. Now we know about Jimmy's football career. So Jimmy's, what questions do I need to add as we read the first few paragraphs? I think I'm going to settle with those 3. That's what I want to know. All right, so what I learned. We're going to move on to what I learned now. I learned that Jimmy plays quarterback for his high school football team.
I know Jimmy gets hurt.
Jimmy does get hurt. Jimmy gets hurt. Okay, let's put that. Jimmy gets hurt. Okay, so I know he's a quarterback. He gets hurt. Let's see, what else do I want to know? Oh yeah, they won the championship when Jimmy returned. That's a good thing to add. Okay. All right, so there's 3 things what I learned. When we do your assignment later, I'm going to ask for 5. But for this practice modeling, I'm going to use. All right, so now that I have my KW now filled out, I can now use this to help answer and understand the story better than what I could have just reading it. So, to sum up the story, what we learned is Jimmy's a quarterback for his high school football team. Jimmy gets hurt. His sub comes in. Jimmy comes back for the championship game, and he wins the championship for his football team. Okay, so, is there anybody have any questions of the KWL chart? What do you guys think of the KWL chart?
I like it.
That sounds you're really enthused about it, you're saying. Okay? Alright, well, I think this would be something that maybe right now seems overwhelming. maybe seems like, oh, I don't want to use this because it's a process, a lot of steps, but I think it can help you. Okay? For today's assignments, we're going to walk through another KWL chart where we're going to use strips of paper. Okay, I'm going to pass out a K chart, a W chart, and an L chart. Also, I'm going to pass a story out called A Day at School.